think when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection live on the Cageside Press social media platforms. We have a loaded show for you today. I'm Brett Cagle, joined as always by Eddie Law. Eddie, let's jump right into the UFC Perth fight night card as we return to action this weekend as Carlos Ulberg in the main event takes on former title challenger Dominik Reyes, who has been streaking as of late. Ulberg, obviously one of the most talented fighters on the roster, very athletic guy. He's looked good recently, and he's a hometown favorite here back in Australia. Eddie, what do you think of his chances against someone who's been there and done that, against everyone in the division like Dominik Reyes? Do you think that the athleticism, the youth, and Carlos Ulberg is going to be able to get one up on Reyes this weekend?
No, I don't. I don't, and isn't that me going to the Reyes hype train? I just think that dude came back. Hey, what's up, Peter Pan? Good morning. I think I don't know, dude. I think Dominik Reyes has shown a different side of himself since he came back. Right after he had like some crazy like life threatening like issues, right? And he's finally back doing his thing. And now since he came back, he's won 3 in a row, knockout, 3 knockouts in a row, right? 3 knockouts in a row. The guy, and he doesn't take a lot of chances, right? Everything's very calculated. I don't see that from Ulberg. Or Ulberg, if anything, fights to not lose. And that's how he's been since 2023, maybe 2024. Last time he got a knockout was last year. I know that for sure.
The Alonzo Menefield fight in St. Louis. I was at that fight in the stands. Yeah, and that was really largely in part because Alonzo Menefield came out aggressively at him in that first 10 seconds and ran into a punch. Ulberg obviously is a good counter striker. He trains with those guys over there at City Kickboxing, and he's a big, strong guy. If you go in and crash in on Carlos Ulberg and he hits you clean, there's a good chance he's going to be able to put you out. Oh, yeah. Eddie, I don't see this one going the distance. 5 rounds here. I believe this is the first time that we're going to see Ulberg in a 5-round fight. Dominik Reyes obviously has gone 5 rounds with tremendous amount of competitors, including Jon Jones. But in the last 3 for Dominik Reyes, that obviously the big knockout win over Nikita Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Dustin Jacoby, 3 stoppage wins in a row. Eddie, are you kind of on the same agreement that as me that this one is not going to go the distance?
It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. And if it does, Perth, I'm sorry, man. Y'all getting honey dick by the UFC. Not only are you guys getting a card, y'all not only do you guys pay tickets to go to it, even if you don't go to the card or even watch it, even know what the UFC is, y'all paid for it. All right, if y'all know what I'm talking about, go look at the TKO stuff. Anyway, no, bottom line, it better be a finish. Shit. Look, neither one of these guys, I'm not giving neither one of these guys a title shot at 205 off a decision, unless it's a war. If it's a war, yeah, great. Winner is real close to it. Otherwise, unless you get a finish, bro, just keep on fighting, man. We ain't giving y'all shit. We don't need a boring-ass fight or fighter going into a title shot with either Ankalaev or Pereira, right?
Yeah, my thing is Ulberg was the new kid on the block, and if he would have had an impressive performance against Jan Blachowicz, he might have already been in the title picture instead of seeing Pereira once again. But I thought they were going to throw Ulberg to Yuri Prohaska or someone up the division, former champion that's like Rakic, him. But, with the win over Jan Blachowicz, Eddie, do you feel like he's moving down in competition to face Dominik Reyes, who probably isn't ranked as high as Blachowicz was as the time he fought him?
No, hell no. This is a step up. I don't see. Look, because Blachowicz, he likes to wrestle, he likes to grapple, he likes to put you on the fence, beat you up to the body, and try to take you down and beat you up on the ground. Dominik Reyes is not that. Dominik Reyes throws hands with you and sets you up for a fucking head kick. That's what he's gonna do. It's a different style of fight, but I think I think Reyes is better than Jan, right? Maybe not by a ton, but look, Reyes in my mind belongs in the top 5 already. Especially with the way 205 is these days, right? It's not the greatest fucking division in the UFC.
No, it's dying for new stars.
And Reyes is there, and I don't know why they're not pushing him, but I'm trusting right now. He gets his head kick knockout that I think he's going to get in Perth on Saturday. Y'all better they better recognize, man. Dominik Reyes is ready for another shot.
Yeah, to me, Eddie, when I'm trying to pick this fight, it really comes down to the cardio of Ulberg that we haven't seen yet. Because like you were saying, I think Dominik Reyes is better than a lot of guys that he's fought on the feet. And what that means to me is that he's gonna have to fight a smart fight for 25 minutes on the outside, using the jab and leg kicks, a lot of like what we've seen in his last 2 performances over Oezdemir and Jan Blachowicz. Kind of aggressive guys as well who have knockout power. You got to stay away from the problems for the length of time. Now it's at 25 minutes, though, and we don't know what the cardio is. I am going to go Carlos Ulberg by decision in this contest, but with that being said, I don't know what he's going to look like in round 4 or 5 after he's been in exchanges that are really big with Dominik Reyes in the first 3 rounds. So could Ulberg get tested and fade late and Dominik Reyes come on and knock him out? I could potentially see that happening. But I'm going to go with Carlos Ulberg by decision in this one. Eddie, what do we have for odds? Do they have it on the website yet, or should I look it up on ESPN?
No odds on anything. Just look it up.
Okay, it is. I figured they'd have them there ready for us to go on the website, but it is minus 250 for Carlos Ulberg, plus 200 for Dominik Reyes. So a pretty big betting favorite, Carlos Ulberg.
So minus 250 that we're gonna get bored to fucking death on Perth. God damn it! First of all, let me just fucking let some steam off here. Why the hell is this at 7 p.m.? All right, in the States on the West Coast for main card start. This is overseas. Stop screwing over overseas fans. I get it. The Aussies love to drink at 3 a.m. They don't give a shit. Or when it's 10 a.m. They drink beer for breakfast. All right. Shout out Matt Davies, who drinks me under the table every goddamn time I see this motherfucker. But even he's my brother. Don't love that guy.
Yeah,
but,
good guy.
Super good guy. But god damn it, dude. Come on, man. I was looking forward to a breakfast. I shit you not. Breakfast cards are my thing. Dude.
Yeah, the 10 a.m. cards in America where we can wake up and watch UFC and college football on multiple screens, have breakfast, do whatever. And then the rest of our day, we've got whatever to do.
Yeah,
I like those a lot when they're in China.
If you're going to do this shit, you better have a banger of a card. This is not a banger of a card. It's solid. It's good-ish. But it's not a banger.
It's an Apex card, Eddie, in my opinion.
Y'all paying for that. Hey, like I wish I could zoom in. Like right here, look at my eyeballs. Y'all paying for Apex level cards in your cities. Y'all paying for a babysitter if you got kids. You guys are paying Uber and fucking drinks and all kinds of shit, all right, to watch the Apex card in your city, all right? Next time you bitch about Apex cards being in the fucking Apex, recognize why they're there, okay? I'm not standing up for the Apex cards. I'm sick of the complaining. That's just stupid. Anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I agree. I think that this is a good fight. This is normally on a fight night card, probably a co-main event, to be honest with you. And what we're going to talk about
in
next
the city,
is a co-main event. And I don't think that Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan necessarily would be on the main card of some good fight night cards, Eddie. So Jimmy Crute, obviously from the area, he's an exciting guy. Jimmy Crute is never in a boring fight, right? Like he goes out there, kill or be killed. A lot of times he gets finished, but sometimes he gets the job done as well. Had a little bit of a tough stretch before he left the UFC, came back in his last fight and got a win. A very close contest he got a win in as well. Eddie, who do you have in this one? I'm quickly going to take Jimmy Crute by knockout. I think that he's going to get the job done at home.
One of my buddies asked me about what I thought of the card this weekend, right? Perth card. And he was like, who you picks? And I'm like, and I gave him my picks. Cool. And he's like, all right. He goes, I know the main event. He goes, who the fuck is Jimmy Crute and Ivan Erslan? And I'm like, they're PFL fighters. He goes, I believe it. I'm fucking with them, not PFL fighters, all right? But this is what you got playing with you. Anyway, Jimmy Crute, dude, Jimmy Crute at home. Although it's funny because Jimmy Crute always has some weird ass fucking circumstance, right? Then he had that one where he had like a dead nerve or something like that, and then he ended up losing because of that, some bullshit like that.
Yeah, and then there was another thing where it was like a head clash and another contest where he got a win taken away. But
yeah, so it's about time my man Jimmy gets a clean win. Go get that finish, Jimmy. I got you by finish, dog. Let's go. Ground and pound.
Yeah, I kind of think this one's set up for him to win at home. I would honestly be a little bit disappointed if he didn't get the win. As I look at the betting odds, Eddie, it's minus 190 for Jimmy Crute, plus 160 for Ivan Erslan. So a little bit closer number than what we had in the main event. But I'm going to take Jimmy Crute, the kid from Australia, at home by knockout.
There you go. I'm taking.
So, Eddie, moving down the card here, we have Jack Jenkins versus Roman Tavares at 145 pounds. Jack Jenkins has looked good with his wrestling at times and is tough with heavy hands. But how interested are you in this matchup overall?
I like Jack Jenkins because he throws mad hands, and Ramon Tavares is a dog. So this is going to be a fun fight. It means nothing, but it's going to be a fun-ass fight for as long as it goes.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to take the youth and athleticism of Jack Jenkins in this one, also fighting at home. We just saw this on the Noche card. Eddie, 6-5 of Mexican descent went out there and won. I think that we're going to have a pretty similar situation this weekend with the guys from Australia. And sometimes they set the cards up to do that. We've seen that happen in Canada in the past on pay-per-views. There as well. So I'm going to take Jack Jenkins in this one by decision. You mentioned the toughness of Ramon Tavares, and I'm going to think that he's going to be able to survive 15 minutes. Jack Jenkins by decision. I think he's going to do good with the grappling at times. I think he's going to be able to get Ramon to the ground and control him there, leading to a decision victory.
This is my pick, dark horse pick for fight of the night. Give me Jackie. Give me Jackie Jenkins with the decision in a war.
Yeah. All right. So actually, Eddie, I think this is one of the most well-recognized fights on the card between Jake Matthews and Neil Magny here at 170 pounds. Jake Matthews has looked good recently. Yeah. We know the striking skills that he possesses, but he's going to have to go against a guy who's got a lot more length than him in Neil Magny and a lot more experience. Neil Magny is kind of one of those guys who is the tester in his weight class, like Mike Malott, Ian Gary. If you're good enough and you're a top 5 fighter, you're going to pass the test of Neil Magny. But if you're not quite up to that level, there's a good chance that Neil Magny can turn you back and go on a little bit of a win streak of his own as he comes in off a win himself. Eddie, who do you take in this one of UFC vets?
Fuck. Give me Neil Magny in a boring ass decision, honestly. I just think he's a sneaky guy. And Jake has shown that he will, for lack of a better term, kind of choke in fights that he should win. He should win this fight. Should. All right. Everything's set up for him to win. He's at home. He doesn't have to travel. Neil has to travel all the way over there. The age difference, everything, all that, put in there. Jake should win this, but man, I think Neil Magny's gonna just be like, I'm gonna spoil it for you, dog. Because he's a dog, dude. He is.
He's got so much experience. But, I mentioned the length. I go back and look at the record of Jake Matthews. He has wins over Chidi Njokuani and Phil Rowe. Also, both very big guys for this weight class, 6'2", 6'3". Plus, I think Phil Rowe might be the tallest guy in this weight class, actually. So, Jake Matthews has faced length in the past, but Eddie, do you think that Neil Magny's grappling is going to play a factor in this one? Obviously, in my opinion, Jake Matthews is the more fluid striker. He's quicker, he's younger, he's probably got better hands altogether. And if he gets inside the range and length of those long arms of Neil Magny, a lot of times Neil does get pushed up back against the fence, where he got hit against Santiago Ponzinibbio a long time ago. But constantly in his fights, Neil's fighting with his back off the fence, circling around. I can see that at times as Jake comes and stalks forward on him. I'm actually going to take Jake Matthews in this one by 3rd round knockout. I think that Neil is going to be very tough and competitive early. I think he's going to use that grappling, but there late in the 3rd round, 2nd round, I think that Jake Matthews will overwhelm him with volume on the feet.
There you go. I think Neil Magny's going to use that height, that length, that size, and everything, and the veteran savvy. Jake's a veteran, no doubt about it. Neil has way more fights. Not way more, but more fights, more experience and everything. And I think he's seen more different styles than Jake has. But and I think he just adapts well. And honestly, Neil does the same shit every single fight and somehow pulls it off. It is what it is, right? So I just like Neil
gets knocked down in the 1st round. Other dude empties his tank, comes back round 2 and 3, grinds out a decision win. It's written.
I almost feel like I think Neil does it on purpose. Honestly, I think he just goes, "Oh, fucked up. Oh, okay, go ahead, motherfucker. Yeah. Come on, come on, yeah. I bitch what's up," like that kind of thing.
So from a betting perspective, fight fans, minus 450 for Jake Matthews this weekend, plus 325 for Neil Magny. Keep in mind that Jake Matthews has been submitted 3 times previously in his career. Neil Magny, me and Eddie believe is going to have a little bit of a grappling advantage in this one if you like him. Money line. Neil is plus 325. That's huge, Eddie. That's the biggest dog on this main card so far.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. That's, again, y'all tripping. Vegas, you tripping as fuck, man.
I'd say this is a pretty close fight. I'd say it's more 2-1. Like,
easily.
I think this is more a coin flip than it is a blowout.
Oh, no, I agree. Fully agree. No, there's no reason it should be minus 450. That's ridiculous. Yeah, but hey, go ahead. Hey, y'all Neil Magny bettors. Y'all might pull a big one off this weekend, man. Who's the guy with the fucking way too bright teeth? He does the betting shit for the UFC. Yanni the Greek?
Oh, Yanni the Greek.
Yanni's gonna be like, take this. I wish I could do his fucking, because he has no like lips, right? He's like a fish. Like his like lips. Like, yeah. Hey, you take this. I just make a bunch of money off of that. It's like, I'm not making. Look, but I don't hate you, dog. I don't dislike you at all. I just think you're silly looking and silly sounding and kind of just silly overall. That's it. I don't hate you though. Yeah. But I
follow him on Instagram. He's like he's a character for sure.
No, he's definitely a character, 100%. But I just can't get past the teeth. Every time he pops up especially on the Contender Series cards, I'm like, bro, but bring back Minty, dog. I can't stare at this shit. I need sunglasses.
I sent it to you when she got pulled off the air because I swear to you, he was giving her his picks and she was reading the teleprompter because one night the headset went out and she was sitting there waiting to get told what to say and she was like, and that's why she ain't there no more. So
no, that's why. Oh shit!
I haven't seen her since.
That's
but
true.
I mean, it could be just something else. She could take another.
That sucks. She's super funny.
Torres Finney murked both of these bums. Well, Torres Finney fights at 185 pounds, so I think that he would probably beat these guys at 170.
Okay, I won't disagree that Torres Finney beats them, but he ain't murking a goddamn person.
Yeah, I haven't
anywhere.
I don't know if Torres Finney is capable of causing harm on another human being.
Look, he's a giant dude. He's strong as shit. He's a great wrestler, but outside of that, he ain't murking nobody. There's a reason he got told by Dana at the continue, like, no, you're not good enough, dog. Like, damn. Yeah. They basically had to force Torres Finney down Dana's throat, basically. To get him
they did, and he got that win over Valentin and hasn't been booked yet. And Valentin, that was one of the most boring fights I've ever seen in my life. But it is what it is. On this card, though, we do have a lot of prospects on the prelims, Eddie. But weirdly enough, we have a heavyweight fight between two guys who are close to 500 in record. But both of them throw heavy leather when they're in there. Justin Tafa is going to return against Louis Sutherland. I don't know much about Louis Sutherland, Eddie. He comes from Scotland. 10-3 is his official record. We don't necessarily have it here on the UFC website, but looking at it in front of me, 10-3 for Louis Sutherland. Looks like a little bit of a grappling background, but can't believe these two guys aren't going to throw some leather here in the featured prelim of the night.
I mean, that's the reason why he's on there. The only reason that Top is even fighting this card is because he's in Australia. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's it. No other reason.
Where's Junior Tafa? Where's the one with actual talent?
Don't be mean, dog. Come on now. No, you know what's like that? Justin's the one that got hurt warming up, right? And his brother had to step in on a couple hours. Damn. Yo, man, Junior, you better be there, dog. You never know. Your older brother might break your shit again.
Hey, Mike missed weight, too. He's one of the only guys to miss 265. If you remember.
You know what, man? This is a who gives a shit fight. Let's move on.
It is. I don't know. That's kind of when I brought it up. I didn't know what your opinion on it was, but why is this over Tom Nolan and Charlie Campbell, who are up-and-coming prospects, both killers, both go in there, finish fights. We got Navajo Sterling, who's 7-0, looks like a world beater, taking on Rodolfo Bellato. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But why are these guys not the featured fight? Those are your up-and-coming prospects in this area, in my opinion, and skip this fight. I agree.
100%. No, hey, last time when you went to Chicago, did you have to go take a piss at any point after all the beer and everything?
I don't remember.
That's fucking why. Because y'all need a piss break at some point, right? Like, I don't want to get away from the TV.
Yeah. Take a smoke break during this and
smoke break, piss break. Go make a pass at the wife or the girlfriend or whatever you deserve, you prefer, and I guarantee you that this fight's gonna go 25 or 15 minutes, and then you'll be back. Just plenty of time for the actual fight.
Just for, I'm going to have to get a pick out there. Louis Sutherland looks like he's got a little bit of a grappling background. I'm going to take him by decision, but don't have a lot of faith in that pick.
Justin, you better give me one, bro. I'm standing up for you right now. You better give me a knockout now that this dude over here. All right. It's hard to pick these fights, dude, because it
is. They're two fat guys at heavyweight with minimal,
Why isn't Stephen Asplin on this fight? Give me Stephen Asplin against Sutherland. That's a way better fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
but moving down the card here, again, two legitimate prospects moving forward that I believe have top 15 potential, each of them. Tom Nolan, who is 9-1, his only loss was by knockout to Nicholas Mota. That came a couple years ago on the prelims of a UFC Fight Night card. Charlie Campbell was knocked out by Chris Duncan on the Contender Series, but has since come back and really put together a good stretch of fights to get into a good contenders matchup here with Tom Nolan at 155 pounds. Eddie, both of these guys are really big for the weight class, 6'3" and 6 foot tall. Both of them are strikers. I do not see this fight going to the ground. Charlie Campbell, he's shown a good chin since he got knocked out by Chris Duncan, but that was a vicious one. He can get chinned, and so can Tom Nolan. I don't know if this one's going to go the distance. I think both of these guys are so devastating offensively that someone's going to go down here. I don't necessarily know if they're the most defensively sound fighters in the world, but both of them come with a lot of action and a lot of action early.
Yeah, no, 100% is going to be a finish. I can't even tell you who. I mean, I probably lean Tom Nolan, just Tommy fighting at home and everything, but you're right, absolutely right. And these guys didn't learn defense very well coming up, so it's gonna be it's a banger. This is a banger of a fight. Again, I understand why they build these cards the way they do to put action and spread it out. Because if you put it all on the main card, no one would watch the fucking prelims.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
By the way,
this is honestly one of the fights of all the fights we've talked about so far. This one's got my most attention, other than the main event, because just what I think the potential are with these two guys.
Yeah, and by the way, ESPN Plus, fuck y'all, raising my price for your bullshit. Fuck out of here. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and did you see that? Did you see they're wanting to? They bought Red Zone, and then they came out and they were like, Red Zone's going to be on ESPN Plus this year. And I get on first week, and it's like ESPN Plus exclusive. I'm like, what? You guys came up with a different streaming service inside your own
ESPN
streaming
Select
service?
or something like that, right? ESPN Select or some shit.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was. Exclusive, select, something like that.
By the way, NFL, you guys are trash for even agreeing to that deal. Fuck out of here. You're just making it harder and harder for NFL fans to watch shit. In order to watch every game I want to watch, I have to have Amazon Prime. I have to have ESPN Plus or Select now, apparently.
NBC.
I have to have fucking everything. You have to have everything. So, and you know what? UFC, y'all going that way too. You're just lucky as hell Paramount offered you for all the shit. God damn.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We will touch on that here shortly. Once we get through our picks here, we will touch on that. That is one of the breaking news topics that we are going to touch on tonight. But
I legit thought I was the only one that called him Charlie Olive. So hey, good to hear, bro.
Quickly though, Tom Nolan minus 150, Charlie Campbell plus 125. Odds makers are calling this a coin flip, kind of like what we said, Eddie. I'm going to take Tom Nolan by knockout. Which way are you going?
Tommy. I'm going Tommy. Same thing.
Tommy. All right, so next we've got a light heavyweight matchup between Navajo Sterling, who has looked like an absolute world beater so far. He's going to be taking on Rodolfo Bellato, who had a really weird fight last time out, had that knee to the head, and, had like a delayed reaction, Eddie. We don't see it very often. I don't know if he was faking. You thought he was faking. I remember the episode we had about that afterwards. Mm-hmm. Do you think Navajo Sterling goes in here and takes care of business, one? And two, do you think the UFC maybe is punishing this guy a little bit by throwing him to the new face in the division for what he kind of did last time?
I mean, I think Rodolfo Bellato needs to make sure he gets checked before he shows up with herpes again. Because goddamn, remember that was the reason that his first fight, that one fight, got canceled. Yeah, he picked up him and Paul Craig. It was the first time around. It was supposed to be that, and then he caught the hurt. Like, damn, boy, that's a crazy way for the world to find out, man. But anyway, not to mention that should be private. No, dude, bottom line, this is just just building up Navajo Sterling. You got to do it. He needed a fight. Bellato embarrassed himself in the UFC last time out. Give him a chance to make it up.
Now, Bellato has not lost since he lost to Vitor Petrino at 8 wins. That was back in 2022 on the Contender Series. He had a no contest. What's up?
Sorry, you ever seen that meme, that black dude that doing this? A no contest is not a loss.
Yeah. So he had the no contest last time out with Paul Craig. Yeah. Then he had that weird fight with Jimmy Crute that went to a draw in a 3-round fight. I think there was a point deduction by Crute, and then Crute ended up it was weird scoring. I don't know exactly how it went down, but he has not won definitively since coming over to the UFC. Eddie, I don't know whether this guy's a dominant grappler, a dominant striker. I haven't really got a good glimpse on him yet, but I do know what Navajo Sterling's good at, and he gets guys out of there early with athleticism and great striking. I'm going to go with Navajo Sterling by knockout in this one. I'm going to go second round.
I'm going to go decision Navajo Sterling because I get it. He's fighting near home, right? But you can't go in there and you can't get murked by Rodolfo Bellato. If you do, it's fucking embarrassing. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, Rodolfo Bellato ain't lost since whenever, but he ain't won since 2023 either, like you said.
See, Eddie, this guy just beat Ivan Erslan, right? Just knocked him out. Yeah. Looked great. We're all happy to see Navajo Sterling fight again. Why is Ivan Erslan, why is he in the co-main event while Sterling's down here on the prelims and he just knocked him out? I just don't necessarily understand the matchmaking at times. When we were at that Noche card, we had a potential number 1 contender fight between Tatiana Suarez and Amanda Lemos, and that was down there on the prelims, So I just don't necessarily know where the matchmaking. Are you surprised at all by the matchmaking and where these things are getting put at times?
No, man. Sometimes you need to. Pull a PFL here to remind fans why. You're good.
He did decision him. I'm sorry. That was a decision. You're correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know, dude. I stopped trying to figure out matchmaking as soon. Actually, I stopped on purpose, even thinking about matchmaking after they sold the UFC the first time. Because the second that happened, I'm like, oh, it's about money now. All right, fuck it.
Yeah. All right, Eddie. So is there another fight on here that you want to touch on before we go? Petrosky fights this weekend. I think that he potentially could get a win as an American prospect on the road. Oban Elliott, I'm always high on. I think he gets a win over Jonathan McClellan on this card. And then I do want people to take a look at the first fight of the night between Alexa Thanara. I think that she was really impressed in her, when she's came into the UFC here, and seeing her last time out. I'm really excited to see her fight Luma and to see the potential once again. I think she's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a solid opener. Of course, everyone's going to bitch about women's MMA. So what are you going to do? Yeah. These two dudes.
Thanara is aggressive though, man, and she knocks girls out. So I think that she's going to be a contender one day.
She does, but I want her at this point. I mean, she's strawweight. The girls that fought on yesterday were flyweights. So you and I were texting back and forth, Montenegro and Chavez.
Yeah, that was a badass.
Oh, look, no offense, Luma and Alexia. Fuck that fight. Rebook this one and fly those girls to fucking Perth immediately. Just rematch it right now for the UFC debuts. Now, Alexia's got good talent, good striking, good everything. I need to see her on the ground. I need to see her taking it on the ground. Show what she has on the ground before I give any shits about her career at this point.
I agree. I don't think she goes to the ground in this one against Luma, though, who comes from Thailand, predominantly Muay Thai.
It'll be on the feet unless Alexa thinks you can take her on the ground.
You think Oban gets it done? I see that as Jonathan's going to come out there hot striking, and Oban's obviously a good wrestler from Wales. I mean, Oban's won a lot of these close decisions recently.
I've seen him get chinned a little bit before. Like he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. So if Jonathan catches him, he's not going to let off the gas. He's going to go in. So I think Oban needs to definitely make this a little bit boring. Find the way to the ground and maybe go for a TKO ground and pound. As far as Petrosky goes, every time I'm like, yeah, Andre Petrosky, he bores the shit out of me. So, no, I don't care about that fight either. I am interested to see what Roston got, though. Roston should be pretty solid. Mm-hmm. And then Jamie Malarkey, man, 2 minutes ago, we were talking about him being the next up-and-comer at lightweight, and now he's on the, way low on the pre.
He just puts himself in too many damaging. He takes too many chances at times. Yeah. Like he goes and fights these guys like Jalen Turner or fights these really dangerous dudes, and he just puts himself into range where he can get hit too easily at points. And, we talked a little bit about the defense with Charlie Campbell and guys, but Jamie Malarkey has good length and he's a tough customer. It's just he has relied on that toughness so many times. But getting off this card, this is Fight Fan's going to happen at 7 p.m. from Perth, Australia, 7 p.m. here on ESPN Plus in the United States. You can catch some good prospects. And then obviously in that main event, you've got a contenders matchup between two top 10 guys in the world. Eddie, moving on down here to the news that we've had. Fiziev, we had a commenter mention it in the chat, falls out of his fight with Charles Oliveira. Gamrot will come up and take this fight on short notice in Brazil with a month to go. Eddie, Gamrot, not necessarily the fan friendliest in terms of his style, but this guy's got a set of balls taking on Charles Oliveira, one of the best lightweights of all time, in Brazil on the road with only 4 weeks to prepare. And one of those weeks is going to be fight week that you can't really do anything other than cut weight. This is going to be, in my opinion, a really interesting contest. But when you look at it stylistically, Gamrot with the grappling, it might play into the hand of the jiu-jitsu of Charles Oliveira.
Gamrot is going to crush his way into a fucking triangle and get finished. This is not you. You do not want the smoke, Gamrot. You do not want the smoke at all. You're fighting Charles Oliveira at home. And what I'm assuming might be one of his last fights, maybe even his last fight. No one's talking about it that way, and neither is Charlie Olives. But this is the perfect scenario for a guy who's not going to go for a title shot anytime soon, ever again, probably. Set up for him to showcase and
coming off a knockout loss, Eddie. Do you think he's going to look any differently than what we've seen him in the past? Like, obviously, he's got skill-wise, he's one of the most skilled fighters around. Like, right, he's good with the striking. His jiu-jitsu skills are unbelievable. He can finish on the ground and standing. But coming off such a vicious knockout loss to Topuria like that, we haven't seen him since then. And when guys get knocked out like that, we've seen it with Volk, we've seen it with Max. Is he going to come back the same, you think?
No, he'll be fine. I think. Look, I'm not worried about Gamrot knocking him out at fucking all. Not even a little bit. That dude doesn't want to throw hands with anybody.
No, this might be the safest matchup for Charles to come back into.
And when Fiziev fell out, I was like, fuck yes, because I don't want to see Charlie Olives get flatlined, because you know what was going to happen? Charlie Olives going to get flatlined for coming back way too damn soon. That being said, since Gamrot doesn't like to throw punches at anybody, he's going to go crotch nip, they're going to hug, he's going to take him down, blah, 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 so the shit, and he's going to get submitted, I think. And then Oliveira's going to be like, all right, I am done. Thank you, Brazil, and walk away, right? I think.
That'd be a good moment.
It'd be a great moment for him. Just leave at home, dude, to call it a night. That's it. You're taking enough damage. You won belts. You won plenty of money. Just go off and be a legend, dog. Do your thing.
A lot of credit a lot of credit has to be given to Gamrot here for taking this fight after.
Oh, dude.
I don't think a lot of people were really clamoring to take this. There was Benoit Saint Denis, there was Diego Lopez, but at the top of the division, he's already fought Arman Sarukian. It's not like there's a bunch of guys that can just fight Charles Oliveira on a week's notice, like Justin Gaethje's. I don't know. A lot of these guys at lightweight are waiting right now. Gamrot's not waiting, which I think that he needs to be, commended for.
First of all, did you see Gamrot's reaction to getting the fight?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I don't know who shot it. Somebody the driver was doing it. He was in the passenger seat or whatever. I don't even know what side of the fucking street they drive on. But anyway, he's just like, oh shit, he's like super hyped up and everything. But everyone's like, oh, look how excited he is. He can't believe he got the fight. I'm more sitting here going like, oh, he just stepped in it. He just realized he's got to cut weight like a psychopath until the fight night. Damn. Weigh-ins. That's gonna suck. I thought that's how I took it. But either way, mad credit to Gamrot for stepping up and actually signing the contract and stepping in, because this is what the Bronx and maybe 2 days before that, he says, quote, everybody knows my UFC Rio fight is off, but don't fall for the talk. These guys out there, I'm here. I'll go, because the UFC is calling and they're all saying, oh, there's not enough time to make weight. Oh, I can't. They're posting this on the internet to get hyped. Stop it. It's not a good look. I saw one saying this and another saying that, but when the UFC calls, what do they say? Oh, I can't. I got bellyache. I broke a finger. I hurt my hand. Enough with that. It's not a good look. So, mad credit for Gamrot actually taking the fight, because a lot of dudes, just like you said, like, yeah, I'll do it. And then the UFC's like, hey, you for real? You do it? Oh, dude, it's not enough time to make weight. You bitch. I'm with Charlie Olives. Don't say, put up or shut up. Straight up. And Gamrot put up.
Absolutely. Now it comes to the fight like you're talking about. Is he stylistically going to match up with Charles? That's what we got to wait and see. But it is interesting nonetheless. Eddie, real quick, who do you think won that fight between those two girls last night?
I had Montenegro, but it's hard to call it a robbery when it was that fucking close. I thought I had a Montenegro split. I didn't have a Charles split, but it was split nonetheless. When it comes to split, really hard to say anyone got robbed.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. That was one of the best women's fights I've seen ever, and honestly, as a contenders, it was one of the best contenders fights. Period, regardless of weight class. After
the first round, I think me and the entire fucking internet was like, sign both girls. No, don't even finish this fight. Who gives a shit? Call it a draw. Sign both girls. Have you ever seen two girls end the first round looking like it's already been 25 minutes? That's never happened in women's fighting ever. No. All right, not Ronda, not Holly, not fucking Misha, nobody, not Valentina, not nobody. Not Wei Lee, not fucking JJ, all right? Not Joanna Champion, nobody. Those two girls are such badasses. They look like they had gone for 25 minutes already. And like, bitch, I'm ready to go again. What the fuck you want to do? That was sick as fuck. I was so hyped for that fight, dude. I'm out there grilling and shit. But it was dope.
Did they do you know how they used to do the hospital picks back in the day? It used to be like Jones and Gustafson.
Oh, I don't know.
The hospital bed next to it. They got to get one of those.
They got to do something.
Yeah, I got to see that.
But I was hyped for both of them. But I want to see that rematch in a real fucking fight.
Yeah,
I mean, not real, but a UFC card.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Hey, next time y'all come to Phoenix, put those girls on there. I want to see them in person.
There you go. So we do have a little bit of a serious topic to get to. Raja Jackson, son of Rampage Jackson, was arrested since our last episode for the assault that we've been talking about. The whole world's seen what happened with him and Psycho Stu. Unfortunate situation there where Raja obviously lost his cool and landed about 22 consecutive unanswered punches to an unconscious man. He was charged with felony aggravated assault and held on $50,000 bond in the state of California. Eddie, does that mean that he has to only pay 5% of that bond or 10% of that bond, which is $5,000? I believe that's what that means. Or they would have said it was a $500,000 bond.
I believe so. I think you're right on that one. Either way,
so that to me makes it seem like, yeah, he got charged with a felony, but I don't know if this is necessarily the harshest felony to be charged with. He could probably plead down here to a misdemeanor and not get the worst situation ever.
What state was this in?
California.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
The most bitch-made fucking crime laws ever. It is. Look, you can say whatever. Like, I don't want to get political here, but Gavin Newsom has turned that whole fucking state into just bitch-made fucking laws, all right? You can commit almost any fucking crime.
It's attempted murder on live
why? Why the fuck is Campbell Velasquez in prison?
Well, he was firing in a public space.
Attempted murder.
I agree.
No, attempted murder. This dickhead got off with a fucking slap on the wrist. What the fuck are we doing?
No, you're right.
All joking aside.
You're right.
Yeah, all joking aside. California got great beaches, solid people, but fuck your laws and your government.
Yeah. I will say this, Eddie. When I was out there at the Bellator San Diego card, they had a nice little area where you could go to the local shops and the food trucks and stuff. And I was out there, and a guy had a knife, and the police arrested him. Right? They made a citizens, or they dragged him to the ground, took it, but they let him go. Right after that, they just let the guy go. It was a crazy guy, and I was like,
in the first place.
I was like, what? He was endangering the whole public, and you just let him walk off.
It's silly,
but
to let Raja off like that is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And honestly, dude, like, I'm so sick of hearing about this because all he's gonna do, here's what's gonna happen. Okay, this kid's gonna do minimum time if he does any at all. Okay, you know what's gonna happen? Some fucking promotion's gonna pick him up, either a fight promotion or a pro wrestling promotion. They can be like, "Oh, come on, we gotta," and it's just disgusting. I get it. Yeah. We're degenerates in what we enjoy. We're watching two human beings beat the dog shit out of each other, right? But this is fucking fucked up.
Yeah, this is we cover fights every week. There's nobody. I mean, there's not a lot of people who watch more violence than we do. On a month to month, year to year basis.
Yeah.
And this made me turn away. I didn't want to watch this whole video. This was. I mean, I can't describe it as anything other than trying to kill somebody. But
my thing when that was happening, I was like, "Where's this dude's boys?" There's no way. Like you guys.
Well, so one of the guys who was in the ring standing next to him, I actually watched a couple podcasts of this, and so the kid who initially goes to grab him, he's a kid, and he's actually one of the main wrestler's son, and they were like giving him a spot in the show too. So he was in a bad spot too because he was 16 years old, and he was not. He didn't want you understand. He didn't want to he didn't want that to happen to him. And he did go attack the next guy who did try and stop it, right? So if the kid went in there to stop himself,
he got fucked up.
We got fucked up. And so that's why it took a little bit longer.
Okay.
The one guy did come in there. I can't forget his name.
He tried to
he was the only commendable person in this whole fucking fucked up situation.
Wait, he jumped in. My thought was like, motherfucker, it took you long enough. Now grab this piece of shit and fuck him up. And he actually kind of like wrestled with him because Raja turned to double leg him. And he fucking did the right.
That's what he said. He's like, you couldn't even take me down. Like,
yeah. It's like apparently Raja sucks that bad. He can't take a fucking pro wrestler down. But it was just it's bullshit. End of the day, we're all gonna be looking at this like, he's gonna get off with a fucking slap on the wrist. And honestly, Rampage is not doing himself any fucking favors with talking. Just shut up, bro. Let your kid go through the system and do what he has to do.
I love Rampage. Dude, this whole situation just sucks.
Made him look bad.
What?
Made him look terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody loves Rampage in the MMA community, but it's like you can't defend this, and then he comes out and like you're saying, he talks kind of, he's like, I haven't seen Raja since it happened. Well, Eddie, if your son did this, like, you defend him probably like Rampage, but you probably see him too, right? You'd probably want to know what he's got going on, and where he's at before, and like, hey, son, this is what's going to happen. You're probably going to get charged here in 3 weeks. When you go to jail, this is what you need, There's just those situations you'd want to have as a father. I don't think he's necessarily had the best guidance in his life, but that's no excuse for what he did at all.
This is my man. One man
easy in the criminal court, but he get hit with civil lawsuit. That is true.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Civil lawsuits as well.
Oh yeah. That's my boy. One man Stravin on Twitter. What's up, big dude? But no. He should know he's gonna get hit with a civil lawsuit for sure. There's no way he doesn't. Honestly, has to. Even if he doesn't get off easy, they know Rampage got money.
Yeah, and I think that promotion will probably go bankrupt too, because if I'm Psycho Stu, I'm probably, or Stu or whatever his name is, then I'm probably suing the promotion for letting that happen for my medical bills.
Who's the one douchebag that was like that brought Roger to the thing in the first place? He was telling him to get his lick back, get his receipt.
Yeah, just
like Roger knows what that means.
Goobers, bro.
The whole thing was fucked up. Anyway, but it's bullshit.
Yeah. It is. So moving on down here, we have some actually more exciting news. Gable Steveson, former Olympic champion, Minnesota Wrestling National Champion, made his debut with the LFA in Minnesota last Friday night, and he did so in dominant fashion, getting a first-round knockout win in short order. Eddie, how impressed were you with Gable Steveson? And it looks like he's going to be headlining a dirty boxing event on October 30th versus Billy Swanson in Nashville. Billy Swanson is he's a former Bellator fighter, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. What did you make of his debut? What do you think the potential is in MMA? Obviously, dirty boxing. He's going in there to just try and get combat experience of any kind before he makes this major push forward in MMA. But when you saw his MMA fight last week, how impressed were you with what you saw?
I wasn't. He did what I expected him to do. He beat the dog shit out of Peterson.
Yeah.
Brandon Peters, I think it was. But he beat the dog shit out of him. That's exactly what I thought he was going to do. I wasn't surprised in the least. I wasn't even hyped up by it because I was like, nah, dude, you're feeding a dude that shouldn't be fighting a former Olympic wrestler. You're feeding him that guy? Like, come on, man. Nah, I get it. I hope Peterson, I hope he got paid a motherfucker, bro. I really do. But I probably didn't. But still, I think, this is everything just setting him up to go to the UFC. That's what it is. The whole point is to get to the UFC. But the UFC can't just sign him, 0-0 or 1-0 either, and be like, and try to sell him to us. We're all gonna sit here like, shut up. We ain't seen him fight nobody, right? So we'll see, man. He's gonna do his dirty boxing thing. I think he's probably gonna take one more fight, probably one more fight after this somewhere else, whether it's LFA or whether it's dirty boxing, and then they'll be like, all right, he's ready for Contender Series. Like, oh, okay, just put him in a UFC debut. Fuck the Contender Series for him. Just make it happen.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy like Cain Velasquez who's going to get absolutely no traction on the regional scene. Nobody's going to want to fight that guy once they know. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows who he is. It's not like Cain Velasquez when it was like early internet days and it was hard to find footage on guys. This guy's an Olympic champion. Everybody knows about him.
What the UFC hopes that they see in this guy is what they saw in DC. Honestly, I think that's what they're hoping for. A guy who has incredible wrestling pedigree, but has really good hands. And Gable does not have really good hands yet. It's coming. He's working on it. And everything I've heard behind the scenes is that he's like obsessed with it. But we're not there yet. Okay. So UFC needs to make sure he has a couple fights under his belt before he actually jumps on this thing.
Yeah, I think that he's a supreme athlete, especially compared to some of the American wrestlers that we have. Even if you look at guys like Bo Nickel, Gable Stevenson's extremely more athletic than him, right? So I think that he's a very hyped prospect and well-warranted. We'll see what the future holds for Gable Steveson. But Eddie, I'll tell you who he'd be fighting back in the day if Pride still ran this, he'd be fighting Brock Lesnar probably.
on all the juice. On all the juice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's fucking bring Brock back now. Shit, who gives a fuck?
Did you see him the other night? He looked half decent.
What's he doing?
He was in WWE, but he didn't look in bad shape. There was pictures of him on the internet that was going around. He looks like, I don't know if he's in fighting shape, but he's still he's 48 years old. He's fucking shredded.
He's juicing, my boy. Because you know what I'm going to do when I'm 48? I'm going to be juicing like a motherfucker. Nah, it's going to know. But he's juicing like hell. You kidding me? Nah. The lab that would have to test his shit for PEDs would burn with what, like, it would just melt down like a nuclear fucking meltdown. Just testing his shit. He's on
hazardous waste. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it'd be fucking gross and hilarious. But make it happen.
I'm sorry, Eddie. But Gable Steveson made his debut successfully in the LFA. If he continues fighting in the LFA, I'm sure somebody for Cageside Press will have coverage of him and his career moving forward with that promotion. But Eddie, there was a movie. We don't get many movies announced here in the sport of MMA. We've had Warrior, we've had a couple other lower budget films, but a major blockbuster film's coming out here in a few weeks with The Rock. When I was at UFC Noche, I was lucky enough to be able to go to the first screening in America of The Smashing Machine. I actually had seen the documentary leading up to this, so I was one of the few people who had seen the documentary at the screening before seeing the movie. I don't know if that affected my opinion on it, but I think that the documentary is the best sports documentary I've ever seen. You see Mark Kerr in it, going through the Pride 2000 Grand Prix, one of the biggest tournaments in MMA history. Royce Gracie, Vovchanchin, Mark Coleman, Enson Inoue, Kazuki Fujita, a lot of really great fighters were in that tournament. Mark Kerr was included in that. The movie really surrounds the premise of the tournament, but also highlights the toxic relationship between him and his girlfriend, which is also seen in the documentary. And during that time, Mark's struggling with, pain addiction, right? A lot of these fighters, me and Eddie know, this is hard on their bodies. And when they get done with these fights, when you see them in the post-fight interview and the press conference, it's all right. But 2 hours later, it's kind of like they went through a car crash. So Mark, he was having trouble getting opioid pills given to him by doctors in America because he needed so many. So he went to street drugs and eventually was, using a syringe, and you see it in the movie, to self-inject opioids. So a very interesting story in the sport, Eddie. I don't know if you were watching when Mark Kerr was competing at all. What do you think about Mark Kerr, obviously as a fighter himself, but the documentary, and are you excited to see this when it hits film or when it hits the screen, I believe September 3rd?
don't watch movies very often.
October.
Right? October, yeah. I don't watch movies very often at all, dude. So I'm probably not going to watch it until it's streaming somewhere. I wait. Usually, I wait for shout out my boy Alex Behanan. He's my personal movie critic. So when he comes out and tells me if he says the movie sucks, I don't even bother.
I think it's worth watching. I do.
We're watching. Okay. Well, let me ask you then. What did you think of the movie? And in terms of what you know about Kerr and how The Rock played him.
I couldn't believe how well the Rock played Mark Kerr. Honestly, he looked like Mark Kerr. He talked like Mark Kerr. The interactions between him and his girlfriend were exactly how they were basically in the documentary. It's not like the movie took what happened in the documentary and amplified it. Honestly, it might have been a little bit different because I'm not going to give it all away.
Yeah,
there's some problems with his girlfriend, and he's got to take care of them. The situation in the movie is a little bit more family friendly than it is in the actual documentary and what really happened.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff of what was going on in Mark's life, and The Rock was so good in this dramatic film, in my opinion. I don't want to shit on the MMA guys, Eddie. I don't want to shit on Ryan Bader. I don't want to shit on the guys who aren't actors, but I think that it was a little obvious that they weren't actors, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I thought Ryan Bader did as good of a job as he could do playing Mark Coleman. I'm interested to see what you think of because we know these fighters, right? We know the personality of Mark Coleman. We know the personality of some of these guys that are going to be highlighted in this film, like Boss Rutan. He plays himself, so no problem there.
I love Boss Rutan.
But yeah, Ryan Bader plays Mark Coleman, so I'm interested to see kind of what fight fans think of Bader's portrayal of him, and then what movie critics think of some of these fighters' portrayals in the movie as well. So I don't know if it'll be an Academy Award nominee, but The Rock put on a hell of a performance here solely if you just look at him alone.
Well, I mean, shit. I'll try to convince the wife to go watch it with me. She wouldn't care for a movie like this. Maybe if I tell her about the drug stuff, it should be like.
There's a lot. It heavily relies on the love interest for sure.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, maybe I'll convince her with that one. But what did you think of not really related to the movie? Have you seen The Rock's body transformation?
Yeah, let's take it. Do you think he had to get? So I was listening to Benny Safdie tell him that he had to get bigger for this movie. So obviously, like you see, he's massive. He's on the juice in this, right? Do you think he got off of it and his body just at his age totally just like I don't know, like
I'm pretty sure
reset.
I'm pretty sure he has like a heart condition or some kind of thing. I read something about he had a medical condition, right? And it was announced right after the movie, I guess, finished filming or was already like in post production and all that. Mm-hmm. And I think he got off I always look. He's been saying forever. He's natural. He's not natty. Dude. Fuck out of here. Not even possible. And nobody in WWE is natural. All right, maybe CM Punk, but even then, I don't believe that shit. Okay. But I think he got off the juice and just deflated. I think his body's just like he looks sick. He looks sickly, and it's fucking scary to see a man that's like seemed invincible to fall like that. But I was wondering your thoughts on that one. This is really, really odd. But in terms of the movie itself, man, I mean, we don't get very many good MMA movies. I mean, I don't know what you thought about Roadhouse, for example. I thought it was trash.
I think, and that's not really an MMA movie. It's more like one of our guys going over into a pop culture movie. But
please don't ever act again, Connor.
I want to know your opinion.
For president.
Right now, in my opinion, the best MMA movie, like I don't count the Bruce Lee movies or the Claude Van Damme movies. I'm talking cage fighting movies.
Straight up.
Warrior is probably the best in my opinion.
I like that.
I really liked Warrior. I thought the actors in that were great. Nick Nolte, the guy who Tom Hardy, he played Tom
Hardy's the shit.
And then Joel Edgerton's a good actor too.
Yeah, great actor, dude. That was fun as hell. Especially like older brother is skinny and not as muscular, and he's just like, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna bust your shoulder, motherfucker. What's up? Yeah.
Dude, Nick Nolte in that film where he's crying and shit and is playing an alcoholic dad. That's good. One of the best. He played that role so well. So
good. That was so good. Didn't care for the wife that was always bitching about bills and all that stuff. But outside of that, I thought it was a great story. And then and who's that? Who's the fucking dude? A terrible fucking nickname for the guy that Tom Hardy beats the dog shit out of to get into the tournament. What's his name? It was something stupid
dog, something
Mad Dog. Mad Dog,
yeah.
Mad Dog Grimes. I'm like, really, motherfuckers, Mad Dog? Now I know no MMA people are involved in the production. What the fuck? Like I was irritated as shit immediately. But some of the cool guys that got it, like rest in peace, Anthony Johnson. Rumble was in that movie.
Rumble was in that movie.
Hey, his nickname was Midnight. I'm like, really? We're towing the line. We're towing the line here. All right, boys, let's do this shit. Right? Midnight, okay.
Brian
You're not, hey,
Joe Rogan too.
Fuck Brian Callen. Sorry, I don't care. I'll say it again. Fuck Brian Callen. Not funny and total cunt. Sorry, go ahead.
There you go. But Eddie, back to MMA. We're going to full circle here. RDR is going to take on Brendan Allen. What's going on with this matchup, right? We got RDR who just beat Robert Whittaker, a former champion, right? It seems to me that RDR would be on the short list for a title shot at 185 pounds. Now he's moving down the rankings against a guy who's coming off a loss against Anthony Hernandez a few fights ago, Eddie. Do you think this is, one, a bad move by his management, fighting a guy who might be better than him on the feet and able to defend himself on the ground? I see as Brendan Allen as a very good submission specialist who might be younger and more athletic than RDR on the feet. But RDR is going to be a little bit longer, obviously. But, I mean, he got hit really hard in a lot of his fights. This is a guy who is not the most technical guy on the feet. I think the grappling here is going to cancel each other out, which maybe will result in Brendan Allen getting a win here. I think this is a really tricky matchup for RDR. He's a huge betting favorite right now. I would put some money on Brendan Allen, but for me, I think this is just the risk is not worth the reward in taking this fight.
For Brendan Allen?
For Reinier de Ridder.
Okay.
Because for me, Eddie, if I'm Reinier de Ridder, I'm looking for Strickland, I'm looking for Adesanya, and I'm looking for a title shot right after that. I'm not looking for Brendan Allen. I just beat Robert Whittaker, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I think I'm with you. It's a weird fight to take, but I'm wondering if anybody else, everyone was like, no, I'm not taking that fight. Because I don't blame them. If you have a shot to move up in the rankings, you're not taking a fight with RDR. Not on the fucking like with the ton of momentum he has now, unless you're Brendan Allen. Probably been training, probably in shape, coming off a loss or a win?
Win.
Okay, well, there you go. The Marvin Vettori win, right? And you want to build up your own momentum. It's not a bad risk to take for you. And not to mention, Brandon, I'm sure they sweetened the pot for Brandon Allen because losing Fluffy on that main event really took the steam out of that card. There was fans, Canadian fans, and Canadians, y'all always super nice. But there was Canadian fans coming out going, fuck this shit, fuck this card. I want to pay that money for that because I wouldn't either. But again, I wouldn't pay the money for this fight either because I'm not impressed by the matchup at all. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just weird. Maybe it just sucks more to lose Fluffy than it is that it's Brendan Allen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that Reinier de Ridder obviously is somebody that in Europe is going to draw a lot of fans, but here in America, we need to see him against another guy with a name to help build Rainier's star. It's not like Reinier de Ridder is some household name already and is going to carry some card here in America. You go throw him against an Izzy, you go throw him against a Strickland, and he does what he's supposed to do. Now you've got a new star at 185 pounds that you can do these type of fights with in the future. Yeah. But I think that this is just jumping the gun a little too soon. And another thing that really irks me, Eddie, is that Robert Whittaker, who lost to Reinier de Ridder, is calling out Sean Strickland on social media. He's going to get a better fight than de Ridder, who beat him. What is that? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, Strickland's suspended for 6 months, I think, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm assuming he wouldn't be back in time for this one. So otherwise he would have been the guy to call. Right. Yeah. And it's a shitty circumstance and all that. And Rainier's probably just like, fuck it, I'll fight, get paid. If I don't get a title shot, I don't get a title shot. Fuck it. I'll just stick the next guy out. Because if he's able to finish Brandon Allen, he can call somebody out. He won't get a title shot after that, I don't think. Yeah. But
I mean, but the thing is, you're right, Eddie. He will call somebody out, and he will probably be warranted. But he just called somebody out after he beat Robert Whittaker, and that's a bigger win than Brendan Allen. So, yeah, to me, it's this is not necessarily the right direction for Reinier de Ridder. But
I just think it's de Ridder wants to fight and get paid. He spent a lot of years in one championship not getting paid, and then he's just like, hey, look, who took the fight? Only Brendan Allen will take it. Fuck it, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what it came down to. Otherwise, if you pull RDR off this card, let's see what we got. Kevin Holm, Mike Malone, okay. Cheeto Vera against Ayman Zahabi, better fight than that co-main.
It is.
Fiorot, Jasmine Javicius, solid fight.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, Cody Gibson, our claim, we can skip that one if we want.
Nelson and Fabol will be a war, but
that'll be solid for sure.
That's going to be a good fight. Johnson and Jourdain.
David Jourdain and Grant, yeah. So, I mean, the card's good, but with that main event falling out, like, it just took a lot of steam off the entire event. If your main event was Kevin Holland, Mike Malone, then suddenly this card looks like trash, right?
Yeah.
So, that's what it is. I think it's just having to keep RDR on the card.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that it has to come to that. But glad to see this matchup. Not a bad matchup. We're not shitting on the matchup.
The timing of it is terrible.
It's a good fight.
Timing of it is terrible.
Yeah.
I was saying the timing of it is terrible. There's no
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But when we move on here, DC, talking about the White House card a little bit, Eddie, we might get Conor McGregor and Jon Jones on it as we're looking here and hearing in interviews now. DC's clamoring for Jon Jones to get on there. Dana White wants his boy Conor McGregor on there. Eddie, what's your opinion on this? I think Jon Jones has to fight Tom Aspinall on the card, headline it. You have Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler as the co-main event. That's going to be, one of the most top-heavy cards that we've had in the history of the company.
I believe you and everyone else would be disappointed in this card. I think this is one of those cards that's getting so hyped up. Not even a year out. We're we're under a year out. My bad. Yeah. Like Dana already said, I'm not even working on this card until February, which isn't true. But he's got to say shit like that, right? But
it's already gone from the 4th of July to like the 30th of June.
Did it really?
Yeah, I believe they moved it.
Anyway, there you go. Prepare to be disappointed. This card's gonna suck asshole no matter who's on it. I don't give a fuck. I fully believe that shit. I would love to be wrong, by the way. If the card comes up and it's the best UFC card of all time, fuck yeah, I'll be the first one saying, hey, I was fucking wrong. It was badass as shit. That being said, you need an American in the main event. You cannot give me fucking Conor McGregor, Ilia Topuria. Damn sure don't give me Michael Chandler. I'm so sick of this fucking dude waiting for it, right? Because if you put him in there with Conor McGregor, what is he, like an 8-fight losing streak at this point?
He's not a long. It's not Tony Ferguson level yet, but I mean, listen. I think the more interesting matchup is Paddy Pimblett, who just beat Michael Chandler. He made him look terrible. He got him out of there. He subbed him.
So you want to see Conor who?
Paddy.
And Paddy? You need an American in the main event. If you don't have an American in the main event, stop talking about it being a fucking 4th of July card. Stop talking about it being the White House card. Move it to a fucking venue and fuck off. We're not doing this shit. If you're in America, you need an American in the main event. And the one American, you can count on him more to have like a 99.9% chance of winning is this fucking psychopath. Okay, 100%.
You know who I just thought of, Eddie? You know who I just thought of? Who, honestly, if I had to put money on it, who I think the matchup's going to be? Sean Strickland, Khamzat Chimaev.
You want to watch Sean Strickland get murdered on the White House lawn?
He would, but I think Sean Strickland's probably the closest contender we have.
It'll be so weird to see Chimaev win and then go up there and then hug Donnie over there and be like, hey, yeah, guys, I'm just I just want to get paid. I want to go just do my thing.
Him and Kadyrov and Putin are like celebrating in the cage.
I have so many fucked up jokes about that. No, I don't even want to say it because I get in trouble.
No, but I think that's a legitimate fight that's going to happen in 2026 at some point.
Oh, for sure. Just not on the White House card.
Yeah.
I want give me Johnny Bones and Tom Aspinall. Let's settle the Tea Party.
Yeah, that's what we all want.
Let's settle the beef between the Brits and the Americans once and for all.
Hell, all right. Well, we'll go right into it. We had a segment about this, but we're kind of teetering on what we're talking about anyway.
Yeah.
The UFC has kind of had a star problem recently, Eddie. It was brought up on a podcast to Dana White. They asked him about it, said that Ariel Helwani and some other people were saying, really all MMA fans, all MMA followers know.
We've been saying it.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's gone. Ronda's gone. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but it looks like she might be coming back. But Ronda's gone. Jones is gone for now. Conor McGregor's been gone. Like, Ilia Topuria is an up-and-coming star, but he is not Conor McGregor, and a lot of guys are asking Terrence Crawford about Ilia Topuria. Terrence Crawford doesn't even – that's one of the things that pisses me off so much. Do not ask Terrence Crawford about Ilia Topuria. He probably does not even know who that guy is. And in the realm of boxing, what is Ilia Topuria to a Terrence Crawford? He's nothing. It literally does not – it's not on his blip of radar. So we've got our MMA guys going over there to this big event. Ilia Topuria said this. It just makes us look bad. They don't even know who our top star is right now, which just shows that we do have a star problem, in my opinion.
So he made a point on he didn't even make a point. He just said shit on the Logan Paul guy's podcast, right? Talking about no one knows. Like, it's okay. This is the answer to every fucking time we say we come up with a really a good point. Like, the UFC has a star problem. I mean, you agree. I agree. I think we all think they have a super star problem.
It's hard to defend. Like, we have stars, Chimaev. Right.
But this dude, his fucking reply to every time we talk about like, oh, people don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's all he ever has. You know what that tells me? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but you have no fucking answers. That's the problem. Dana White has zero answers to that question. Do you have a superstar problem? He knows he does. He knows the UFC does. All right. And he's not doing himself any favors going over and fucking around with boxing and shit. Right. You know, while the UFC is clearly on the downturn. Right. Little by little, they'll be fine. They're going to last forever. $7 billion coming to the bank soon. Fucking relax. They'll be around forever. But, you know, they're not going anywhere. But his whole thing is like, no one knows what the fuck they're talking about. That's all he ever says.
He doesn't think anybody knows what they're talking about except him. He's the be-all, end-all in the sport.
And that's the problem.
That's
the fucking problem.
You know,
that's the problem. I'm not saying you got to tell us what's going on and be his open book and everything. I don't expect that from any businessman anywhere. But, like, stop looking. He just looks like a dickhead saying that shit.
You can't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Exactly. That's exactly the best way to put it right there. There you go. Because that's what he's doing. So, I don't know. Does it have a superstar problem? Sure, absolutely. Is there somebody out there? There has to be 8 billion people on this fucking rock. You tell me there's not a superstar somewhere.
And they build superstars as good as anybody. And that's what I really think is his irk about it is he kind of gets like when they say you got no superstars, it's like, what, you don't think I can build one? Like, I built all these guys. You don't think I can do that? That's kind of like where his ego, in my opinion, comes into it a little bit. But that's good because he is, in my opinion, the best superstar builder of any promoter maybe that's ever existed. So is the UFC going to be able to produce these guys moving forward? Absolutely. You just got to get guys like Topuria who are exciting strikers, American, you know, in the general vicinity of good English-speaking people, the Eastern European, American, a good striker, an entertaining fighter, and someone who talks well is always going to sell in the UFC.
Just keep in mind, the talent in MMA today is 10 times better than it was back when Anderson Silva was fighting.
I don't know about that, Eddie. I really don't know about that.
But let me make my point and you tell me, okay? Yeah. The reason I say that is that in that era, the Frankie Edgars, the Anderson Silvas, in those eras, okay, because those are kind of slightly different eras, the guys that were coming in the MMA were incredibly one-dimensional, right? You had a jiu-jitsu guy, you had a wrestler, you had a striker, you had a freaking – you had a guy with one boxing glove and his hand fighting in there and shit, right? You know, you had guys going in there with wrestling shoes on, right? Yeah. These days, you got guys that start off as kids training MMA, not just jiu-jitsu, not just Muay Thai, not just boxing, not just wrestling, not just judo, everything, mixed martial arts. So what I'm saying is this, is that everyone's coming up and everybody's good now. So it's really difficult to get a superstar like Anderson Silva, even like a Conor McGregor who seemed unbeatable, right? Even though he was picking his matchups and everything. It's really hard to do. To me, the guy that could be a superstar right now isn't getting promoted like one, Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall talks fucking awesome, fights fucking awesome, finishes fights, does it spectacularly, and people love to watch him. The problem is you keep sticking him in the fucking O2. The hell are we doing? And now you're sticking him in Abu Dhabi. Come on, man.
I agree with you. I think that there are outliers, Eddie. And back to your point on the UFC then to now, right? In the one-dimensional aspect. In my opinion, there are more well-rounded fighters now. But if you look at the grand scheme of things and you go grappling, cardio, striking, aggressiveness, you might have guys who have a D+ across the board in all aspects, or a C across the board in all aspects. But back then you had a striker who was an A, maybe he was a D- in grappling, maybe he was a C in cardio. But you had guys who might have been one-dimensional, like you're saying. But Mark Hunt, to me, he might have been one-dimensional. He's better than half the guys we have right now. You go look at a guy like Vitor Belfort. He didn't have a lot of submissions. He would dust Paulo Costa right now inside of a round. He would beat him inside of a round. Luke Rockhold back in the day, I feel like would do really well against guys like Brendan Alvin and Marvin Vittori. You know, so I don't know. I see some people's point of view, but I think there are definitely outliers from back in the day. Like, is the 16th ranked guy in the UFC from 2012 going to be better than the 16th ranked guy now? Yeah. No, he's not. I don't think so. But the top 5 back then, in my opinion, were murderers that had a different level of aggression and a different level of care for the sport. These are lifelong martial artists, right? Yeah. And now I see a lot of athletes getting into it. We see who's the guy? Waldo Cortez Acosta. Josh Hogan. Dominik Reyes, who's fighting this weekend. Dominik Reyes played football in college. You know, like Alistair Overeem wasn't playing football in college. You know,
eating horse meat.
That's what I'm saying. So I kind of think that it's watered down to an extent. You got 700 guys on the roster now as compared to the 350 you had. But like you were saying, there were one-dimensional guys who would have been exposed in this era, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know you make a good point on that. Now we got athletes in there. That's an interesting thought, and I hadn't thought about it that way. That we have actual athletes. We had Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
All right, he's the guy you could find in a fucking bar fighting somewhere. And
I know, and I hate to say it, but Tank Abbott would probably beat Jared Vandera or some of the fat guys we have now. Like,
probably, yeah. That's why I have high hopes for like a guy like Steven Asplund, who just scraps. Still not, he's rounded enough, right? But like he likes to fight. That guy's fun. That's what we need in the heavyweight division. But yeah, dude, it's a good point, man. We have more athletes now, so it's a little different. You're absolutely right.
So John and Tom is the only main event that should happen for the White House card. Me and Eddie agree with you 100% there. And then, yes, I agree the UFC needs some new faces to it. So, yeah, I think me and Eddie made some really good points there. The one-dimensional argument that Eddie was making is 100% true for a lot of those guys outside the top 10. And but for the top 5 guys, I think that there were some outliers from back then and outliers now. So have to take it on a case-by-case basis. But that's what we got for you guys, fight fans. We'll be back next Wednesday breaking down everything that happens on UFC Perth, bringing you guys any analysis and breaking news that happens for this fight week until next show, which will be at 7 p.m. next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Fuck Seattle. Go Cards.